Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Welcome to Recovery Fitness. Today we're going to talk about the art of food preparation. It's about, 75, 85% of your goals with recovering from, say, like a food disorder and getting fit is that food preparation. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to go into some of the principles on why we have an eating disorder from previous episodes. We'll get into that as well. So again, welcome to Recovery Fitness. Thanks for joining. It's summertime and we're doing good. So if you've been watching on a regular basis, thank you for your interest in Recovery Fitness. And I hope you've been able to implement some of the principles that I've been talking about. So I would say the number one thing with food preparation probably would be setting time aside to food prep. Everyone's busy doing 101 things, people want to be fit, look better, be healthy, not eat junk food, things like that. So if you have to set time aside to food prep, that is probably the number one thing I'd recommend. For me, for example, I try to food prep on Sunday afternoons, food prep maybe 3-4 days, and then when Wednesday or Thursday rolls around, I set time aside to prepare my meals as well. With that goes grocery shopping, right? So when we eat clean and avoid white flour, sugar, eating every 3 to 4 hours, that's a great way of life. So a little trick when you're in the grocery store is really you want to stick to the outsides of the grocery store. That's pretty much everything you need is on the outside of the grocery store, like fruits, vegetables, your protein sources, carbohydrates that are healthy choices. Once you start getting inside the store in the center, that's when you get stuff with the preservatives and man-made crap and all that. So number two, I would say invest in some glass, like I guess it's Pyrex, Tupperware, so to speak. I like the ones with the compartments. So what I do is I'll weigh and measure out my protein in a smaller compartment, and in the bigger compartment, I'll put my carbohydrates and vegetables in there. They're 12, 15 bucks. They're better than the plastic Tupperware. When you microwave them and heat them up, they heat up really well. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. Number three, I would say is, having a plan what you're gonna eat and when you're gonna eat. So let's go over that right now with some healthy choices on that food preparation, okay? So, proteins, we've got fish, poultry, meat, beans, dairy, okay? So specifically, some of my favorites for fish would be salmon, tuna fish, or sushi. Poultry, turkey breast, ground turkey, chicken breast, skinless, not fried. That's really important, okay? Meat, steak, ground beef, ham, pork loin. Legumes, black beans, soybeans. You can throw tofu in there as well. Dairy, skim milk, yogurt, low fat, low sugar, cottage cheese, 1%, 2%, eggs, egg whites, right? So then we got good sources of carbohydrates. We got whole wheat bread. If you can get like 5 or 6 ingredients on that bread, that's great. There's this stuff called Ezekiel bread. It's a great choice for bread as well. It's actually, Ezekiel bread it's not flour. It's like beans and lentils and things like that. It's pretty cool. It's called Ezekiel bread. You find it in the frozen food section. And then cereals, if you're going with cereal brands, I recommend Kashi as a brand. Oatmeal, slow cooked, not instant. Starches, we got brown rice, couscous, quinoa, whole wheat pancakes if you want to try that, or whole wheat pasta. Root vegetables, some of my favorites. Sweet potatoes, beets, yams, potatoes, all right. Green vegetables, some of my favorites. We got kale, spinach, romaine lettuce, broccoli, cucumber, green beans. Other veggies, peppers, squash, tomatoes, zucchini. Fruits, good sources would be apples, blackberries, blueberries, cantaloupe, cherries, grapefruit, mangoes, strawberries, raspberries, plums, all right? And then fats, healthy source of fats would be canola oil, coconut oil, flaxseed oil, olive oil, all right? Healthy fats from vegetables, we got avocados. Healthy fats from nuts, we've got almonds, cashews, walnuts, macadamia nuts, and natural peanut butter, okay? So once you can create kind of like a meal plan for yourself, you know, Recovery Fitness comes into play where we can be accountable to a recovery coach, and that coach can help you kind of stay on track once you map out a healthy food plan, right? So, you know, a healthy food plan with portions, we've talked about this before, but would be, you know, carbohydrates the size of your fist, protein size, the deck of cards, fats, thumb size, okay? So when you can create 6 smaller meals throughout the day, like we've talked about, that speeds up your metabolism, helps build lean muscle mass, and improves concentration, adequate protein intake. Healthy carbs gives you energy, right, for your workouts and life, and healthy fats are really good for you, right? So for example, what I do and try to adhere to a specific plan is this, okay? Meal 1, deck of card size chicken breast, fist size cup of oats, or you know, fist size tends to be about a cup or a half a cup, and then a fist size of spinach, okay? Sometimes I'll move my spinach to my post-workout smoothie as well. And then 16 grams of peanut butter, which is about a thumb size of peanut butter. Okay, so that's meal number 1. And what I'm trying to do is wake up a little earlier, sometimes have that first meal. Sometimes I can go back to sleep or just get my day rolling at that time, okay? Meal number 2, deck of card size of turkey, fist size broccoli, and fist size rice or red potatoes, okay? Meal number 3, deck of card size of ground beef, fist size of green beans, and fist size of rice. I like jasmine rice, okay? Meal 4, typically after my workout, I like to throw a banana, 2 scoops whey isolate protein powder, And sometimes I'll throw that spinach in from meal one, and I'll make a post-workout smoothie. Okay. I also will go with 20 almonds or so. I count them out, right? Okay, good. Next up, meal number 5. I like to go with ground turkey. Again, deca-card size, that ground turkey. And then fist size of peppers, onions, and mushrooms. And fist size cup of oats, right? And then before going to bed, meal number 6, deca-card size of chicken breast, fist size of sweet potato, and then fist size of spinach. Okay, so that's eating clean, right? That's the ideal. Do I follow that exactly every day? Not recently, but Truth Serum comes out, right? So some of you know I've shared some of my story. I've been through some traumatic things in life, and I'm still struggling with that. So what do I do sometimes is eat out too much, or I don't food prep enough, and I get snacks when I'm driving around, you know. Big Larry's got to get down to Slim Larry here. That's the plan, to get ripped. So the art of food preparation when you're dealing with addiction, specifically with recovery fitness, comes into play because, you know, some of us who are addicted or recovering from addictions have different forms of trauma that they've been through. So to recap a little bit on that, let's go to the recovery concept talk that we've talked about. You know, I think the biggest thing to overcome trauma is getting our 5 basic needs met, okay? And that's finding someone you can talk to about life, whether it's a friend, family member, therapist, pastor, recovery coach, you know. So anyway, you know, you want to get the need for attention, right? The need for love, security is a big one. You want to feel safe in relationships. Some friendships, relationships can be a little toxic, so that's where we learn to set boundaries with certain people, okay? And when you get healthy attention, love, and security, then that creates a sense of belonging. And then from there, can create a sense of what we call personal power, being able to, you know, empower yourself to make healthy choices and healthy decisions. So understanding shame is huge too in dealing with addictions, right? So toxic shame says, I am a mistake, I hate myself. And specifically with food, what happens is we can, or I can, you know, have a bad day, maybe I didn't sleep good as I normally do, and you know, I didn't food prep as well because life throws different curveballs, right? So then I'm getting snacks at the gas station, okay? So what we want to do is understand that I have to transform that toxic shame, which says, I am a mistake, I hate myself, to healthy shame, which is like, I'm gonna make mistakes, I'm not perfect, but I love myself. All right, so this is a big part of coaching where, you know, I encourage people to understand the ramifications of shame. It's a very powerful emotion, which is very pervasive throughout society, right? Okay, so then we move to overcoming denial of, let's talk about food addiction and whatnot for today, right? So, you know, I think the big thing is to say, okay, well, I have a mild eating disorder, or I have issues with food, you know, because most of the time, you know, we think to ourselves, okay, I can control this eating problem, or I can control this, or I don't have a problem, you know, denial, right? So when we overcome denial, that's when we're able to accept the addictions and the codependency, right? Because it's pretty much self-diagnosed to say, yes, I am a food addict, you know? All right. And then we want to identify different traumas that we've been through in life, okay? So that's important too, to process that. Like I said, with a friend who can really listen. And a lot of times we just need to find our voice, so to speak, and talk without being interrupted sometimes. Sometimes with a friend, what you can do is set a timer and say, look, I just need to air out some stuff. I need to talk about some stuff here. Can you listen? Can you give me 5 minutes where I just need to process something, right? So what you do with that is set a little timer. You talk for 5 minutes, and you can even preface it by saying, look, I don't need any advice. I just need to find some answers by talking things out. Because so often, throughout life, people can say, oh, you got to do this, or you got to do that, or, they interrupt us, they interrupt our flow, our train of thought. And, so that's a good little tip. Some people call it co-counseling. And then you can give time and attention to your friend as well. You set a timer and say, okay, well, I'm going to listen to you for 5 minutes and just let you process some things. And then sometimes you can ask for feedback at the end of those 5 minutes. That's a good thing too. All right. So I call that finding your family of recovery. Okay. We all have families of origin that we grew up in, and or lack of their. Maybe some of us didn't have families. Maybe you're an orphan, or your parents got divorced, or you don't know your siblings or whatever. So basically, I call it finding your family of recovery. And part of that is recovery fitness. So, if you're tuning in, recovery from addictions and fitness to help you get fit is what we do, okay? So that's part of finding your family of recovery, I think, right? So, all right, so now we'll get back to some of the food prep stuff and the art of food preparation, okay? So I've made a fair amount of progress ever since I've been lifting weights with my food prep. I think I've shared before, I squat like 415, bench press like 315, deadlift around like 345. So with that, you got to eat right? So think about fueling your body, right? So again, when we can get off kilter, we've got to do a reset, right? And regroup, find some people you can trust. I've had coaches myself who I've texted and been accountable to with my food plan. I've had friends or people in recovery from addictions, specifically around food, because the biggest thing is thinking I can do this by myself, right? So asking for help is a sign of humility. Asking for help is a good thing, right? So that's a big thing, is getting that unconditional love from someone who can listen to you and help you plan your food. And sometimes it's easier to cook for someone else than it is for yourself, right? So, some of us can isolate. We're on our phones too much or watching too much TV, and we tend to isolate. So connecting with other people in a healthy way is so important. Have a friend over for dinner, talk about recovery fitness, talk about overcoming trauma, talk about addictive patterns, talk about planning, the art of food preparation, right? That's what we're talking about today. So, and eating disorders or whatever. So, so basically we gotta take time, set it aside, and prepare our food. We gotta hit the grocery store, stick to the outsides, get what you need, create a food plan. I've listed some healthy food choices. Eating clean is a great thing. Some people adhere to a cheat meal once a week, you know. Other people try to abstain completely from white flour and sugar and just make it a way of life, you know. If they have a setback, sometimes that in of itself can cause what I term a shame attack. You know, that shame attack, if I kind of relapse on food, you know, that can drive the toxic shame, right? So how do we reset? You get that time and attention from someone, you talk about stuff, you find your family of recovery, and you're able to process where we've fallen short on our particular food plan, right? I don't like to call it a diet. A diet connotates deprivation, I think, okay? So a food plan is more productive in its language, right? So planning our food. Peaceful planning produces peak performance, the 5 Ps. Peaceful planning produces peak performance, right? Okay? The opposite of that is piss poor planning produces poor performance, okay? So you want to plan as much as possible, you know, food preparation. Again, just to repeat, you know, setting time aside to food prep, going grocery shopping, investing in some Tupperware, watching out for those toxic shame attacks when they do happen, because some of us who are in the recovery community, recovering from addictions, trauma is internalized where that shame can be all-encompassing, and it's like, I'm a mistake, I hate myself, right? So reversing that is talking to someone, you know, getting out of that shame spiral and learning how to regroup and reset. So important, right? And when we eat clean, we feel a lot better, you know? We've got more energy, drink less coffee, you know? Eat right, sleep right. It's what we call in the field homeostasis. It's when your body is functioning at a pretty much optimal level, okay? So with homeostasis, you know, a lot of it goes back to adequate sleep, adequate nutrition, adequate hydration, and then getting exercise in, okay? So that, and then, did I say sleep? Sleep can be so restorative, especially if we're working out, you know, and then eventually we work out on an intense level. You know, homeostasis is a great thing, you know. You get into a great rhythm of working out, you get into a great rhythm of eating right, a great rhythm of food preparation, okay? So, and then educating yourself to learn, read, to know, write, to master something, teach it, right? So, you know, we can read about healthy nutrition. That's important. You know, we can write about our goals for healthy nutrition. You can write about the art of food preparation. Even getting a journal is important, you know. You know, being a recovery coach, I encourage people to color coordinate their life, okay? So blue for me is a symbol of recovery. Whenever I see the color blue, I think of recovery, okay? When I see red, typically I think of like work for me is the color red. So fitness to me is like work. I love working and I love fitness, okay? When I think of the color green, that helps me with my food planning and food preparation. Sometimes I'll wear a green bracelet to, you know, get into the groove of eating right, okay? You know, so I've mapped out my life in different colors, those important areas of our life. Pick a color, map out, you know, the important areas of your life, okay? So, you know, a word about hydration, okay? I typically drink a gallon of water a day. Sometimes I put a little lemon juice in there. Sometimes I'll put some Celtic sea salt in there because I sweat a lot. And my doctor advised me to do that because when we sweat, we can lose salt. So when we have our urination, you want to have it be on the clear side. If it's on the yellow or dark side, you're leaning towards dehydration. So a lot of Americans, unfortunately, we're chronically, mildly dehydrated. So you got to drink plenty of water. So good, I love it. I definitely say avoid soda. What I like to do is drink seltzer because it gives the bubbles, has a little hint of flavor. You can add some lemon or lime in there. That's always a good thing too. So again, just to kind of recap a little bit here. Today we've been talking about the art of food preparation. I'm Big Larry, this is Recovery Fitness. I'm a recovery coach, help people overcome addiction. Personal trainer, help people get fit. Recovery Fitness, we're here to help you out. Recovery-fitness.net talks a little bit about the book. That's coming out too in the near future. Really excited about that. I do want to get in the weight room soon and show you all some specific moves. Specifically what I mapped out in the book is the power clean, the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. 4 major lifts that are key, right? So again, overcoming toxic shame. We want to be able to notice when we have a shame attack, reverse it to healthy shame, and get out of that negative space, reset, get back on a healthy food plan, take time to food prep. It's worth it, all right? So once again, everybody have a great day, and we'll see you soon, all right? L for love. Peace out. Love ya.